Hello everyone, my name is Hecthor Doomhammer, I'm your evil overlord, and welcome to another update vlog. This one is for July 26th, 2016. It's been a while since I last had and took the time to just talk to you guys about what's been going on. So I decided to do that right now. As a matter of fact, it was so long ago that I didn't even remember what the last thing I talked about was, and it was all of the issues that I had with my PC. Now, in terms of that, there is some new updates, because it turns out that my old graphics card was not broken, but the HDMI port in my TV was. What we did was we hooked up the old graphics card to the broken, which we didn't know at the time, HDMI port, and it didn't work. So we hooked up the new graphics card to the same HDMI port, and it also didn't work. My uncle at the time was about to take the PC to his home again to see if it actually would work, and in a final last second panic mode attack thing, I said, like, I want to try one more thing, and that is hook up the graphics card to a different HDMI port in my TV. Luckily for me, I've got 4 HDMI ports, and it did work. So that was a bit fortunate. But a few days later, I did start to think, what if it was the HDMI port and not the graphics card? Especially since the new graphics card technically was worse than the old one. It just kept on halting in my head that it may have been the HDMI port and not the graphics card. Until on a Thursday, I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna rip open the PC, tear out the new graphics card, put the old graphics card back in, and see if it will work hooked up to the different HDMI port. And what do you know? It did. So with that, I immediately tested Just Cause 2, I tested Bully Scholarship Edition. Both games ran perfectly fine, and I knew at that point in time that I needed to get started on Bully Scholarship Edition. Now that is something that I have been doing on the Fridays until I started doing my tournament. I'll talk about it later, but I don't know why I decided to go for Bully rather than trying to finish Just Cause 2. It was more of an impulsive decision. I will go back to Just Cause 2, I do want to finish all of those missions, but now that I'm working on Bully Scholarship Edition, I'm gonna finish that game, and I'll be doing that every single Friday until something else comes up. If it comes up, I don't know. When it comes up, I don't know. But there's bound to be something coming up that prevents me from streaming Bully Scholarship Edition on the Fridays. But until then, I will be streaming Bully Scholarship Edition on the Fridays. And once Bully Scholarship Edition is done, I'm gonna go back to Just Cause to do all of the missions. All of the missions will be their own separate videos here on YouTube. Just like the individual days in Bully Scholarship Edition will be their own videos. And the Sundays, for now, will just remain both Open Array and Rise of the Reds. Now, unless you've been living under a rock while you're still subscribed to my channel on YouTube, you will know that I've been playing Prison Architect with an all-female prison just for YouTube only. I decided to not stream it because I wanted to do it as a daily series, but I couldn't really find a proper time to stream it, especially with the Open Array tournament that I had planned for July. I really couldn't find a proper time to record and to stream Prison Architect. So I decided to just leave that to YouTube only. Same with Rimworld Alpha 13. I did stop after 20 episodes where I just couldn't keep the people alive anymore, and I did ask, like, should I just continue? Should I start a new colony or whatnot? In terms of Prison Architect, I said that I wanted to do a second series on an all-female prison, where originally the plan was to rebuild the Season 1 prison in unlimited money mode, and then see how much it would cost and to see how long it would take to pay it off. I've done a test because I was just too curious, because it turned out that the prison that I built on the large map, including the double-layered perimeter wall, including all of the staff, all of the research, and all of the custom flooring, would costs well over $2.7 million. Now I would just use the grants and the intake of prisoners to see how long it would take to pay it off. But the grants, even if you do complete the foundation education grant, will still only pay off maybe $500,000, which would still lead a long time of daily intake of prisoners before I would be basically debt free. The problem with that is, well, it's gonna take too long. I'm expecting this to take 200 days in game, and I don't want to dedicate that much time to this, and I don't want it to take as much of your time as well. So I was thinking on, since I do want to do another all-female prison, that's I'll just do a new one. But I wanted to do something different, something I haven't done before. There are two things I've never done before, is generate buildings, but those are just like random pieces of wall and a little bit of foundation randomly scattered across the map that you can just bulldoze. All it's gonna take is time to remove that. So that'll end up just being a little bit boring. But the other thing I haven't done is lakes. Now the problem with lakes is that they randomly generate where they generate and how large they will be. You've got such small lakes on the opposite side of the road, but you also have massive rivers that will leave you with like a fourth or even a fifth of building space on the bigger side of the road. What I've done is I've generated a couple of maps with lakes, female prisoners, again Stavara Agnova as the warden, until I had a lake somewhere in the middle of the map that I could just build around. And I found a good map. I've already laid out the planning, and probably starting next week I'll be recording the next series of Prison Architect on that map, and I will just be expanding it and see how the lakes generate and what it takes to get a nice looking prison. After that I will do escape mode for all of the prisons I've done for Twitch and YouTube. I've got 2 prisons sent to me by viewers, and there are a few pre-made prisons that I'm probably gonna escape from as well. So Prison Architect is not done yet. Rimworld, on the other hand, has received an update. It's now available on Steam. It's Alpha 14, and I'm following a couple of YouTubers that play it, and it just doesn't look that interesting. To be honest, compared to Prison Architect, I really wasn't enjoying the Rimworld Alpha 13 playthrough that I did as much as I did Prison Architect, to a point where I was actually reluctant to record Rimworld. So after the 20 episodes where I just couldn't keep the people alive, and I will admit I did re-record several episodes just because people were dying and I didn't want them to die. So I just dedicated so much extra time in Rimworld that it became too much of a hassle for me. And after the 20th episodes that I just couldn't keep people alive because I was constantly getting bombarded by sappers, I just said like, okay, I'm gonna be done with this for now. See some feedback, and I only got one piece of feedback that said like, start a new colony. And just after that, the new alpha came out. I looked at it, and I suggested, if you want to know exactly what's going on in Alpha 14, just look it up on YouTube. I'm not going to be the one to show it to you because it's not really my kind of game anymore. Now, unless you have been really living very deeply underneath the rock, you will know that I've been hosting my very own Open Array tournament, and it is also the reason why I haven't been streaming Bully Scholarship Edition on the Fridays. It's also the reason why I haven't streamed Rise of the Reds on the Sundays. It's because I just wanted to take the time to hype up the tournament as much as possible. And the tournament itself happened on July 2nd, when we did the first set of first rounds and the first set of the quarterfinals. Sunday, July 3rd, where we did the other half of the bracket with the first round and quarterfinals. And originally it was also supposed to be taking place on Saturday, July 9th and Sunday, July 10th. But looking at how fast the games were on the first weekend, I decided to talk to the players and see if they were okay with doing the bronze match as finals on the same day as the semifinals as well, so that we would do all of the tournament remainder on July 9th, the Saturday, so that everyone could take the Sunday, July 10th off. Now, my only real issue that I had in mind was Andrew, who is from Australia, and if he would have said like, no, I don't want that because it's going to be too stressful, it's going to be too late for me, I wouldn't have done it. But he was okay with it. He said that he was going to be exhausted by the end of the road, but he was willing to play all of his matches on the Saturday. So that's why we did it. And while the first 2 days of the tournament, the first Saturday and Sunday, were around 3.5 hours long, while we expected it to be between 5 and 7 hours long. The last day was really the longest day. We were streaming for well over 6.5 hours, I believe. Now, in terms of how long I spent on this tournament, including all of the planning, I started writing stuff down pretty much as soon as the tag team tournament was over at mid-March. And while it's been just laying dormant and waiting for feedback from the community, only once it turns June, I posted it on the forum to the public and opened up registration. Now, the first 2 weeks of the registration, nobody signed up. And at that point, I was willing to throw in the towel and say like, well, if we can't even get 8 people to sign up, then this tournament isn't gonna happen. And also, I'm not gonna organize anything in its place. Slowly, we got up to 4 people. And I said, well, for 4 people, I'm willing to do a tournament, but I'm not gonna make it the 160 euro tournament that it was supposed to be, but a 60 euro tournament where I would just have a first and second place prize. And I decided that like, okay, if we're gonna have 8 people, it's gonna be 80 euros, and depending on how many more people we will have, with a maximum of 16, the prize pool will gradually increase as well. At the end, we ended up with 15 people. If you watched the post-mortem vlog, you will know that I screwed up with one person, that he didn't play, and the other person just didn't bother to check in on the forum again. So we had 13 participants out of the 15 registered people. But all in all, it was a blast to host this tournament. And after the tournament was done, I think I spent around another 40 hours or so in editing all of the videos. So yeah, there's a lot of work involved in organizing the tournament and doing the tournament and then the post-production and such. The day that this is getting recorded and hopefully also uploaded, I accidentally fucked up the scheduling of all of the episodes, all of the videos. So today is going to be the vlog, and then tomorrow we will start with the semi-finals. And so that's tomorrow. The day after tomorrow will be semi-finals as well. Then we'll have the bronze match and then the finals on the 31st, I believe. And after that, I'm gonna just start Prison Architect again. This upcoming Friday I will be streaming Bully again. This upcoming Sunday I will be streaming Rise of the Reds again. So yeah, it's time to get back on schedule. Now, in terms of my personal life, nothing has really changed. I still work at that place, still work those awful times, and I'm still free on Fridays. But on week 33, which will be the week of August 15th, I believe, I'll have a week of vacation. And starting then, I'm gonna take a week of vacation pretty much every month, because I have about 120-ish hours of vacation time that I can just take and get paid. So instead of just taking like a very long vacation, I'm just going to take a week here, a few days there, and yeah, starting the week 33. Now what I'm going to be doing in week 33 is that my sister and brother-in-law are going to go to the family cottage on the beach, so I'll visit them on 1 or 2, maybe 3 occasions, and I'll do some cleaning around here because it's about time I do that again, and I may visit people, places, but mostly I'm just going to be streaming. I don't know exactly what I'll be streaming, if I'm going to be finishing Bully in that week, or if I'm going to be starting a new game altogether and trying to finish that game in that week. I don't know yet, but I'll have plenty of time to stream. I will attempt to be streaming every single day, and yeah, that about concludes everything that I wanted to talk about. It's gonna be a bit of a longer vlog, I know, but a lot of stuff to talk about since I haven't made a vlog for that long. Anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, helps out a great deal. My name is Hecthor Doomhammer, I'm your evil overlord, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.